Hi, my name is Larry, and I want to talk to you about the most effective alternative cancer therapy that I know of. All right, I have Annie. Annie, what part of the country are you from?
Southern Oregon.
Okay, and you have a story to tell.
I do.
What story do you have to tell?
Well, July 3rd of 2010, I got a call from my oncologist. On the 28th of June, I had an endoscopy and some blood work and imaging done. And the 3rd of July, 2010, I got the diagnosis. I had stomach, liver, lymph, adrenal, pancreatic cancer. And then about 5 months down the road, we found that I had metastases in my lung and my brain. My prognosis was there was nothing medically that they could do for me, and I had about 3 weeks to live. Basically, if I was lucky.
Not a very good outcome, is it?
Well, it was not a nice prognosis, no. And I'm a retired nurse, and I'd had some experience with using natural means to fight cancer because I am now a 6-time cancer survivor.
Wow.
So it wasn't my first bout with cancer either. So the medical establishment just had nothing at all to offer me. So I went home, and between my husband and I, we got on the internet and were looking for alternatives. Early on in my research, I came across a report on a clinical trial done by Drs. Santori and Warburg, who actually won the Nobel Peace Prize in Medicine for curing cancer with Cesium. And because I found that clinical trial pretty early on in my research, I decided that if it was good enough for a Nobel Peace Prize, probably good enough for me. And of course, the report on this clinical trial had a lot of holes in it. They didn't run down the whole protocol that they used. They just gave bits and pieces of it because they don't want really people to be trying this at home. So there was a lot of blanks that we had to fill in. And we went about very seriously studying to fill in these blanks. And a lot of it was just trial and error.
Right.
So we ordered the Cesium. Originally, we were using also potassium from a health food source in our area. I didn't order from the company. I just was buying it out of a health food store. But basically, I would use a tablespoon of Cesium at night right in the middle of the meal, and then other minerals and things to kind of try to keep my alkaline, to balance it. What I found was basically I would take a dose of Cesium and my alkaline would go way up, and then after a few hours it would go way down. And it was kind of a roller coaster ride at first, and it took me a good while to figure out why. But when you get a high enough pH, what happens is the cesium and potassium actually kill the cancer cells. They break and it flushes the acidic content of those cells into the bloodstream. And that's why I was going up and down and up and down and up and down.
Yeah, and it's a cycle.
Yeah, it's a cycle. It absolutely is a cycle.
I found out that been led to believe it's actually the immune system that kills the cancer cells. It's the cesium that actually creates a problem in the cancer cell that causes the immune system to attack it. Don't you agree?
Now, I really don't understand that aspect of it. Most of my research is based on what was available in 2010, 2011.
Right.
What I really know is it works.
Yeah, that bottom line.
That's.
Did you ever try any other therapies?
Well, along with the cesium, I used calcium, magnesium, potassium, and I used at times quite a bit of oxygen. That was something that in our research we found that was helpful. For probably 3 or 4 months, I also used some DMSO. We learned that pepper was very useful in helping to get rid of cancer cells. So we used that. I mean, we used a little bit of everything, and anything that we came across that said that, it could kill cancer, we probably did try it.
So how long did you stay on the therapy?
16 months.
16 months?
Yes, 16 months.
It's not a quick fix.
No, probably not. I can't speak for other people. It depends on how much cesium you take, how high you keep your pH. But reading the clinical trial, I found that half of the patients that they were allowed to test, to use this protocol on, half of them died. And even they thought that it might be because they went at it a little hard,
Yeah. Yeah, I think a lot of the information online about the amount that you should take is completely wrong. I believe you shouldn't take more than 3 grams a day, and then sometimes a lot less depending on your body weight.
Yeah, it does make a big difference, yeah. And over the course of treatment, I lost probably 60 pounds.
Wow.
The other part of our treatment protocol basically was, because what we learned was cesium mineral is, the molecule is like a wiffle ball. So it captures other minerals and chelates them from the body. So I was taking other vitamins to make up for that deficit. When the cesium would take minerals out, I was putting hopefully more in than the cesium could take out. So there is that. You have to be careful and have enough vitamin resources so that when the cesium does its thing, it's not leaching all of your minerals out of your body, because that's not a good place to be either.
Right. And you would say that a diet is a big portion of that, right?
Diet is huge. Yes, absolutely. When when we started this, we completely changed our diet. No sugar at all, no carbs. I mean, as low a carb count as we could get, and 80% vegetables, 20% meat, protein.
Yeah, you've got to have the protein.
Yeah.
Well, there's
That's the only way to keep your blood sugar stable.
Exactly. But it can be plant-based or animal-based.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
What kind of side effects did you experience while doing the therapy?
I experienced some numbness around my mouth and in the outer edges of my thighs.
Did they eventually go away?
Oh, yes. Uh-huh.
So how are you doing today? Go ahead, I'm sorry.
It was kind of recurrent. It wasn't there all the time. When I would get my pH way high, I would get that effect. When I brought it back down to around 8, that would go away.
Well, that's good to know. So what condition are you in today? I mean, are you cancer-free?
So far as I know, I am, yes.
Okay. Do you continue taking the products to some extent?
I do. I take Cesium to some extent because of the structure of the wiffle ball. It chelates iron from the body. And because of that, I still take it because I also have hemochromatosis, which is an iron overload disease. And probably the reason that I ended up with the stomach and liver cancer.
So how do you feel about other people trying this therapy?
I think that anyone can learn to do this. And I think if they do, they will benefit. Absolutely. I didn't really have any choice because there was no other help offered me. But I think this is something that everyone should have the choice to do this, to try it.
Yeah, I know President Trump made some sort of ruling where people in the last stages of cancer, when there was no hope given, they could try experimental things that weren't proven by the FDA yet. I would hope that this would be one of them because, it works.
Yes,
it works.
Yes, it does. It works.
So I'm hoping that they will rule that alternatives would be allowed to do them just as well as the experimental drugs the FDA hasn't approved yet.
Right. Yeah, I agree. I think this, and it's natural.
Yes,
and
it is.
The only side effect is improved health.
Yeah, but you do have to watch your potassium levels, right?
Yes, you do have to watch potassium levels, and you have to know the symptoms if you're getting too much potassium. But I never found that problematic. But being a retired nurse, I know certain drugs cause people to have too much potassium in their body. So especially if you're taking other medications, it'd be a good idea to also have blood work done to ensure that you're not like having too much potassium buildup, or also probably nutritional work done so that you're not losing too much in the way of vitamins and minerals, and because one of the biggest cancer related to cancer killers is cachexia. It's basically starving to death.
Right. You're absolutely right there. And there's a lot of these, I call them fad diets that are promoted for people with cancer that actually can put people into a cachexic state. Because they're not paying attention to the reason that you do fall into that cachexic state. So it can be dangerous by following some of those diets that claim to be good for people that have cancer and actually aren't. So
Yeah. No, I agree. I've seen many ads for if you just do apple cider vinegar for a week, it'll cure all your cancer.
Yep.
Nah, that's not good.
What do you
That's
think
not
about
healthy.
What do you think about the 24-hour cancer cure?
I don't believe that you can cure cancer in 24 hours. I would have to try it myself in order to believe that. But it took 16 months for us, and that was pretty much throwing everything at it that we could get a hold of. So, yeah.
So what would you say to the people that are listening to this as your last statement?
I would say that this is hope. This is health. This will, if you can figure it out, if you can wrap your head around it, this will help.
Well, hey, I really appreciate you sharing your story and everything, and I hope that you stay cancer-free the rest of your life.
Oh, me too. But if it happens to come back, I know how to deal with it.
Okay, dear. Well, thank you very much for your interview, and thank you for letting me share it with others. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right. You take care, and you have a great day.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.